Shalom. This is Mary Omni, the woman of Revelations 12 and Galatians 4:4. And I'm asking you to consider that I am who I say I am. Because if I wasn't living it, I don't know whether or not I would believe in myself that I actually gave birth to King Emmanuel, February the 15th, 2011. And King Emmanuel and the kingdom of God is actually on earth as I speak. And the chariots, and they are declaring their sovereignty over the skies and over the earth and the kings of the world. The old earth closed 11/11/11. So this is a republic notice. And although this is relating to 2 people or 3 people, it has application and far-reaching applications across the board. Okay, this is a republic notice to Whitney Houston, family survivors, Bobby Christina, Bobby Brown, and this relates to Dolly Parton. Now, this republic notice is going to point out the truth about how Dolly Parton is now involved in embezzlement and larceny. Now, them may sound like some harsh words, and they are harsh if you don't take the truth as it is. Because, see, a lot of people want to be in delusion about the truth. And they want to hide and overlook the fact that blacks are constitutional citizens. Whitney is a constitutional citizen. Now, you can take that for a joke, because the whole music industry seems to take constitutional citizens, blacks, for a joke. But it's on them. Constitutional citizens in the supreme contractor. Constitutional citizens who at one time was 3/5 until they inherited citizenship of the 14th Amendment and the Reconstruction Amendments and the 1866 National Persons Jurisdiction with the contractual enforcement rights in every state and jurisdiction of themselves and their property. Okay? So the 1866 Civil Rights Act that made them national citizens and persons was constitutionalized in 1868, making them legal constitutional persons and national citizens. Now, people want to stay in a fantasy, and this is the fantasy that people want to stay in. They want to believe that somehow they can supreme constitutional citizens who are the only citizens in the supreme law of the land. And since 3/5 couldn't consent, that meant that the 14th Amendment inherited was a non-considered amendment. Since 3/5 couldn't consent, the 14th Amendment that was inherited is a non-consenting amendment. So that means people basing their Bill of Rights and people saying they have Bill of Rights don't have it at all because they don't have citizenship. Not if they basing it on the 14th. The 14th been non-consented since 1868. Civil rights have been non-consented since 1868. So therefore, when it comes to a song like the one Whitney Houston sang that Dolly Parton wrote, Dolly Parton is collecting the money for the song that she wrote. She considers it her property. Well, just like Dolly Parton considers that song she wrote, I'll Always Love You, her property, Whitney Houston considered her 14th her property. It's constitutionalized as her property. Yet Dolly Parton based her citizenship on Whitney Houston property of the 14th. So that when she was on Whitney Houston property and birthrights and land, she wrote a song called I'll Always Love You. Whitney Houston sung this song that Dolly Parton wrote while she was benefiting from Whitney Houston non-consented birthrights, because she was a constitutional inheritor. God's people inherit, they don't consent. And on Whitney Houston land rights, because nobody can prove that the 40 acres foundational investment didn't come with Emancipation Proclamation, you have just made a joke out of it, but you haven't proven it, that it is not written, and blacks are not in chattel slavery anymore. You know, you trampling like dogs don't make them slavery. When the contract says they are sovereign, non-consenter citizens, and the only citizens in the Constitution who are national citizens and citizens of each state that they reside in. Therefore, Dolly Parton had something to Whitney's. Before Whitney even sang the song, Dolly Parton supposedly wrote while she was using Whitney assets of Whitney 14th birthrights and Whitney 14th land rights. Because see, blacks only need to put 3/5 of an acre anywhere for it to be constitutional. They don't have to use their whole 40 acres. And their 40 acres was just an investment, a foundational investment. But all investments grow. All investments grow. So 40 acres is now more than 25,000 acres apiece for every Judasian constitutional black American. Okay? Not only that, Whitney Houston people is the pioneers of not only country music, jazz, bebop, hip-hop, swing, rhapsody, big 40s, all music that has been created was pioneered by blacks in America. Now, Johnny-come-latelys can mimic just like a parrot can mimic. So if Whitney Houston people was the pioneers of music and of country music first, and then Dolly Parton wrote a song while she's on the pioneers' birthrights and land, do Whitney Houston owe her anything for claiming her pioneering inheritance and her birthrights inheritance and her land inheritance? No. Dolly Parton has no contracts that supremes Whitney Houston. She is an corporate doctrine consenter. She has no contracts that supreme Whitney Houston. No contracts whatsoever. And therefore, the money she is taking and making is based on pretending her corporate contract is higher than Whitney Houston's. And it's a pretense that the Constitution don't exist. But a preemptive lien exists. A constitutional preemptive lien exists on everything Dolly Parton's own. She can run away with all the green grass, but contractually, by supreme contract, she won't own none of the wealth for trying to be smart, trying to go ahead with a system that she knows is unfair, trying to act like she can keep what's hers, but Whitney Houston couldn't keep her birthright. She trying to act she can keep what's hers, but Whitney Houston couldn't keep her inheritance of being music pioneers. She can keep what's hers, but Whitney Houston couldn't keep her land rights that she's squatting on. She can keep what's hers, but she can also claim Whitney Houston's is her delusion and the delusion of all in corporate doctrine contractors, thinking they can own everything blacks own, but blacks can never preemptively say that my contract is supreme to yours and was before yours. So you're just committing theft and larceny under corporate doctrines because you think Satan protection is going to last forever. But it's not. Bobby Christina and Bobby Brown got a supreme contract on you, Dolly Parton. They own everything you got, and don't you ever forget it. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David.